I've been wrapped up all nice and cuddly in my tinfoil blanket today, reading up on this UFO government cover-up story, and I know it sounds crazy on the surface, but stay with me, the story's actually kind of interesting. Basically, it started when this Air Force veteran came out yesterday. His name is David Grush, and he's claiming that the government is covering up UFOs. He says that he has seen evidence of this secret crash retrieval program, which is exactly what it sounds like. He says there was a program in the UAP department of the government, which is unidentified aerial phenomena, and this task force would go out to these crash shots of alien spacecrafts and retrieve the bodies inside as well as the spacecraft and take them back to reverse engineer them and just examine them and whatnot. And then he claims all of these things they retrieved are from not Earth. They're of alien origin. And I'm seeing myself in the little viewfinder here and how red I look. I'm not doing a Kool-Aid Man cosplay. I've been golfing all day and forgot my sunscreen like a doofus, so that's why I look like this. I'm very sunburnt. It hurts. And so far, you're probably thinking this is very standard procedure for a conspiracy theorist whack job, but the only reason I'm talking about it is because the dude who is the whistleblower, he's not like Bob Lazar. He's not some self-proclaimed physicist who said he worked on stuff in Area 51. This dude, David Grush, is actually he's an Air Force veteran, and he was also part of the UAP task force, which is the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force. So he had pretty high government clearance. He had to know a couple things that were going on, and he's claiming that he has seen evidence of this stuff. So he's the most credible source that we have of UFOs and alien spacecrafts actually existing. But just to step outside of this conspiracy theory real quick, if you just think about it, logistically, statistically, if the universe is as big as we know that it is, and there's so many stars, much like ours, galaxies outside of ours, just incomprehensibly, unfathomably large, there has to statistically be other life besides us, similar to us, very different from us, just some sort of life that could either be very more advanced than us or even less advanced than us. And odds are we probably have been visited by at least one of those civilizations or one of those kinds of species at least once in our history. And now you may be thinking I'm crazy, but I assure you I'm not. I know that's what any crazy person would say, but I don't wear tinfoil underwear to bed. I don't have tinfoil in my pillow to protect me from the 5G waves. I don't believe that 9/11 was an inside job. But I do, however, believe that aliens exist, just from a logical standpoint. But to get back to this story and talk about it a bit more, I just wanted to talk about it because basically it's the most credible source and credible story we have regarding UFOs actually existing, because this dude was actually involved in a department that would be handling UFO situations. Now, I'm going to start by showing you a clip from the interview he did and what he has to say about the whole situation.
When you say crash retrieval, what do you mean?
These are retrieving non-human origin technical vehicles, call it spacecraft if you will. It's probably not the right parlance, but no kidding, non-human, exotic origin vehicles that have either landed or crashed.
We have spacecraft from another species.
We do, yeah.
How many?
Quite a number.
And a further quote from him in the interview, I'm just going to read it for you instead of giving it to you straight out of the horse's mouth. "I thought it was totally nuts, and I thought at first I was being deceived. It was a ruse," Grush told Coulthart. "People started to confide in me, approach me. I have plenty of senior, former intelligence officers that came to me, many of which I knew almost my whole career, that confided in me that they were part of a program." And he says they told me, based on their oral testimony, that they provided me documents and other proof that were in fact a program that the UAP task force was not read into. So he's saying there's a secret group inside of this already secretive group inside of the secretive US government. So a bit of secretception going on. And he says that he gave what he refers to as classified proof to Congress and to the Intelligence Community Inspector General. And News Nation did confirm that he was actually who he said he was. That he didn't just give him like a fake boating license and say, "Here, my name's SpongeBob SquarePants. I'm part of the US government. I know that there's aliens in the US government that they're hiding from everybody." They actually ran the numbers. They verified that he was actually part of what he said he was in the government. Now, here comes the big roadblock in the story, because nobody has seen or verified the proof that he's speaking of in the form of classified documents and whatnot, because he told News Nation that the evidence was hidden for national security reasons. And on top of that, he says he has also not seen photos of the alleged spacecraft himself, but he's only talked to other intelligence officials who have seen them. So this is like a third-hand encounter, because we're hearing it from someone who heard it from someone else. You know, it is kind of a bummer that there is no grainy photos that look like they were taken back in the pre-war era, or any videos that look like they were filmed on something made out of like paperclip and shoestring. But the fact that it is coming from such a well-regarded official is the only reason that I'm taking this relatively serious. And he also told the people who interviewed him that the American public has been lied to for decades. You know, that's like telling me that poop stinks. It's very obvious that they lied to us about a lot of stuff, probably. But he also says, quote, "There is a sophisticated disinformation campaign targeting the U.S. populace, which is extremely unethical and immoral." Honestly, though, I feel like if there was, like if they were in possession of UFOs, or if they knew that other alien civilizations existed besides us, that wouldn't be a huge shocker. Regardless, though, if his statements are true, it would be the first time that an official representative from the U.S. government has said that we are not alone in the universe. So that's a big deal. That's why I'm talking about this, because it is genuinely a big deal because of who is saying it. But he does go on to say, we're definitely not alone. The data points, quite empirically, that we're not alone. And that's what I said. You know, statistically speaking, we can't be alone, right? It's like, it would be way more impressive if we were alone, and honestly kind of existential, very dreadful that we would be all alone in this massive universe, than if the universe was just teeming with life that we haven't discovered, or maybe are never going to be able to discover. But apparently it says that Grush is aware some people will think he's making this story up, but he insists he is speaking the truth. That's a quote, a line that happens with every single one of these UFO whistleblower stories. They may not think I'm telling the truth, but I'm telling the truth. They all say that. But, you know, this is once again up to your judgment. You got to decide if you believe it or not. Personally, I don't know if I believe the story specifically, but I do believe there's alien life out there. There has to be. I'm not going to go on the rant again, but there just has to be. But also, it doesn't seem like he's doing this for, like, monetary reasons. As far as I've seen, looking up his name and whatnot, he's not like Bob Lazar, who did all these, like, this media run, writing books, all this kind of stuff. I don't know if I believe Bob Lazar or not. That's an interesting story in and of itself. But this guy, David Grush, he hasn't been writing any books. He's not trying to, like, make a Netflix series about this. It doesn't seem to be doing it for money. But then again, what reason would he have to put his, like, personal and professional life at risk? He even said he's putting it at risk by doing this. It's believable that he's doing it out of the kindness of his heart to inform the American people. But you're kind of saying something that most people already believe. Most people believe UFOs exist. They believe aliens have probably at least visited or known about Earth. So what reason would you have to upend your whole life, personal and professional life, just to put out this little story? So much like every other UFO story, this one ends in a very unsatisfying way. You don't get a concrete answer. There's no solid evidence, solid proof. But this at least has its words coming from a very respectable mouth that has a resume to back up what they're actually saying. If anyone was going to know this information, it would be this dude. So it is, in my opinion, one of the most believable stories about UFOs actually existing and the government trying to cover them up. However, it does leave an unsatisfying taste in your mouth. Like there's food in front of you, but it's locked up in a box like Fort Knox and you can't get to it, but your mouth's kind of watering and you want more, but you can't get to it, you know? Because there's not any conclusion. Like, we just have to take his word for it and wait to see if there's any more information that comes out, which there never really is. It's just the one story and nothing else really happens until another story comes out. But like I said, I did find this very interesting. I love talking about this kind of stuff. Every now and then I get on my little conspiracy theory kicks and dive real deep into them. Watch a couple Joe Rogan clips every now and then. I get kind of crazy. Like once a year, I go kind of insane. I guess that's pretty much it. I just thought I'd talk about this since I did talk about the whole unidentified flying object situation that happened with the Chinese spy balloon thing a little while back. I just thought this was a goofy little story. Pass some time talking about it. Maybe you enjoyed watching. Maybe you didn't. I don't care. But I'll catch you in the next one. Actually, I do care. I'm sorry to say I didn't care. I care about you a lot, actually. Because you watch my videos, and that means a lot. But I'll catch you in the next one.